With the arrival of Anthony Volpe, the future of the Yankees is now. And with Volpe receiving number 11, you can officially close the book on Brett Gardner. In this episode, I am joined by friend of the channel and co-host of the Yankees Avenue show, Patrick Hennessy, to discuss Gardner's legacy, the Yankees' retired number problem, and what are some realistic expectations for the rookie. We've got a Friday night, off-day episode of NYY Recaps, and it begins right now. Welcome. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. You guys know I don't run an ad unless I personally endorse the product, and that's why I chose Game Time as the sponsor for this podcast. If there's one thing that stresses me out, it's trying to find great tickets to my favorite events without all the hassle and hidden fees. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over your tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're going to be having. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy, and with just a couple of taps on your smart device, you're all set, and the tickets are sent directly to your phone. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use the code NYY Recap. That's all one word, and there's no S. Why? I don't know. $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price. Guaranteed. We are back. We are back, everybody, and you might see a familiar face here. Look, opening day always feels like such a tease because you get that built-in just-in-case weather sucks off day on the second day of the season. So to kill some time, I brought back the GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend, my 2021 6'4" DP partner, throwing it back old school, Mr. Patrick Hennessy.
Derek, I'm not going to lie, that might be the greatest intro of all time. You got me hyped up for myself, and that's a rare thing to do. But yeah, dude, listen, I'm so happy to be back. The vibes are high. Vibes are ecstatic. We're coming off one of the greatest opening days of all time. Derek, you look great. You have that snazzy hat on. It looks amazing. Life Appreciate is that. Just good.
By the way, you can get this hat in the NYY Recaps shop. Address is on your screen, nyYrecaps.shop. So, Pat, you are obviously a big Brett Gardner fan, one of the biggest Brett Gardner stans that I know of. How do you feel about the number being passed along to Anthony Volpe? I personally think it couldn't go to a better person, but it's kind of a symbolic closing of the chapter on Brett Gardner, and I'm going to miss him. So give me your thoughts on Brett Gardner and the whole number situation.
Yeah, no, Derek, it's kind of insane that, we haven't really talked in a while, I guess, right? And now we come back on, and the topic is Brett Gardner in 2023. now, this kind of just feels like a setup to, dig me deeper into a narrative that, I thought died a while ago. The Pat hates Gardner, forever, whatever, we'll talk about it. Dude, I think it's kind of just signaling the end of a career of mediocrity. It signals the end of the idea of everyone thinking, ooh, Brett Gardner's going to get his number retired. Ooh, put his number in Monument Park. That's clearly not happening now because, dude, it never should have ever even been a thought process in anyone's mind. I'm happy that it was finally put to rest. And for everyone that's being like, yo, Gardy never got a proper send-off, that's no one else's fault besides his own. The fact that the dude couldn't realize when it was time to call it a career, your legacy, it falters as a result of nobody's actions but your own. And that's the way I stand on it. Volpe takes number 11, bro. It was cute that he called Gardner, got permission. Cute. But, at the end of the day, it's kind of, meaningless, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Volpe has to do with the number.
That's why I like you, Pat. You're not afraid to take a stand. So we got a chat full of Brett Gardner fans, and you immediately, as your first action in your Ali-like return to the ring, take a giant, steaming Cleveland steamer dump on Brett Gardner's memory.
Wrong.
Oh, man. That's tough. You know, the phone call thing was interesting. I like that Volpe made the call, but I also kind of feel like, I feel a little guilty, and I feel a little bit weird saying this because I kind of got a big platform now. But I also don't think I would have made the call. Maybe I'm not as classy as Volpe, but I don't think he needed to make the call. Look, Brett Gardner had his time. Volpe earned whatever number was available by making the team, by having a great spring, by being a number 1 draft pick. He's probably going to be a better player than Gardner was. Not to say that Gardner was mediocre, as you put it. I thought he was a good player. He had some big hits. He was a left-handed bat at Yankee Stadium that learned to use the porch over time. He stole a lot of bags, made a lot of nice catches. And I want to give a round of applause to Mr. Brett Gardner. I'm going to miss him personally. But what did you think of Volpe, this spring and just the opening day hype and just what you've seen so far?
Yeah, no, listen, Volpe's awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised he did make the opening day roster. I think all throughout spring I had like that pessimistic mentality where I was like, yo, I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Volpe being the Yankees opening day shortstop. They proved me wrong, and bro, I'm very happy about it. However, listen, like I'm kind of like I'm being the villain tonight, so I guess I'll dig myself a little bit deeper. I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of like this. Oh my God, like this is his life goal to be a Yankee. Like I don't need to know every waking detail about like his upbringing as a Yankee fan. Like I'm not gonna lie. I don't really care that like on the way home from being born at the hospital, his parents were listening to Game 6 of the World Series. Bro, like all these little details, I don't care. Like just perform on the field and win games. Like that's all I care about, bro. I don't need like every little like semantic.
Lori C says, Pat is cranky. I like this. Pat's coming back and he's swinging. Pat's like Mike Tyson in the first round going for the knockout, trying to take out all of our favorite Yankees. Hey, look, I hate to say this too, but I'm over the baby pictures at this point. We've been seeing it for 6 weeks. It's like, we get it. He's a Yankee fan. I posted in kind of my own, like I don't want to take swings at it, but I tried to mock the situation a little bit. I posted a picture of Jason Dominguez as a baby in my stream. Not sure if you saw that. It's a little alien baby with these sharp fangs. I was like, Jason Dominguez's baby picture was way cuter. I honestly think that Dominguez might even be a better prospect in the long run. I saw what he was a year younger and he had an even better spring. Granted, it was a shorter amount of time, but he's a switch hitter and he's physically just built different than everybody else. But I am excited for Volpe. I don't know if the expectations that people are putting on him are just. I've seen a lot of like 30 as a rookie of the year.
I said that,
yeah, I even said that. I predicted in my Bleacher Report stream. By the way, back on Bleacher Report on Monday, I predicted that he would win Rookie of the Year because I needed to make a bold prediction. But I don't know. It's a big adjustment to come into New York as a 21-year-old. And how old are you, Pat?
22.
Okay, so a year younger than you. Do you think you could have conquered New York as your younger? You did conquer New York as your younger self.
Absolutely. Hey.
Listen, I'll give my take on it. I think it's really weird how this is like the first time in my life where I'm looking at a New York Yankee who's younger than me, right? Like usually I'm always like looking up to these guys. It's like, okay, that's an insane comment. Okay, I like ice cream, by the way. But I'm looking at Anthony Volpe as like the first Yankee ever in my lifetime who's younger than I am, and it's kind of a weird scenario. But I don't know, bro. Like I guess in terms of his expectations, I think he's like a little bit overhyped just because they're setting the bar so high for this kid, and we're talking about a dude who he doesn't have the potential of an Aaron Judge. Like I think the max out season for Anthony Volpe would be like. He can go have a 30-30 season, but I think more realistically, like 25-40, and then maybe bat like 280.
Yeah, I kind of see him. I don't know if he's got 30 home run power in the major leagues. I just don't know. I want to see it, right? Let's let him hit his first home run before we start saying he's going to hit 30-plus home runs. Initially out of the gate, what I would look for as a good first season for him would be somewhere between 260 and 70 with the batting average. I'd say 18 to 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. I do think he's going to have a lot of stolen bases because he's just so damn fast and he's used to working with a pitch clock. I also want to see good defense. If he puts up a 3 WAR, I think that's a really solid year, and I would sign up for that right now. What do you think?
Yeah, no, dude, I'd be completely here for that. I mean, this season, like, I'm expecting by the end of the year, bro, maybe even by the All-Star break, Volpe's going to be their leadoff hitter. I think that that's just the value he provides to the Yankees lineup, and we saw it on opening day, right? He might have not gotten a hit, but we saw the absolute terror that he causes on the base paths, and that's what the Yankees have kind of been missing with this core, right? Like, we've had the Judges, we've had the Stans, we've had the Glabers, but we've never had that, like, Volpe, who can just cause absolute terror on the base paths, and I think having him as their leadoff guy going into the playoffs is going to be huge.
Yeah, back in the 2003 World Series, there was a player, I forget his name. Man, somebody in the chat will remember it. I'm sure Doug Rao remembers it. It was Juan Pierre, who ran wild against the Yankees for the Marlins in the playoffs, or in the World Series, and just basically just owned them on the base paths, created runs by himself, created havoc. And ever since then, I feel like the Yankees have been trying to get that guy. They signed an aging Kenny Lofton. They called up Brett Gardner expecting to be that guy. But really, Brett Gardner, while he stole 49 bases once, I think, he was not an aggressive base runner, you know?
Dude, you're doing this on purpose. Like, how does the conversation always go back to Gardner?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, in terms of speed.
Don't forget Ellsbury.
Yeah, Ellsbury, but he didn't play enough to steal any bases. I think he stole 30 bases one year, but I mean the guy was made out of glass. How many seasons did he even play for the Yankees? Like 2 out of the 7 years or something like that, maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe.
That was a huge fail. What do you think about the retired number situation? So apparently the Yankees have asked Major League Baseball for permission for their coaches and the manager to not have to wear jersey numbers, which I think is fine. Personally, I've never understood why coaches have to wear jerseys at all. I thought it was stupid. I'm not saying they got to wear suits, but you know, if all the coaches wore a tracksuit like Al Davis with a whistle and a pair of sunglasses, I wouldn't care. I just don't think that you need to see Matt Blake in baseball pants. What's he going to pinch run? Like, there's no reason for that. So I just don't know how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on the retired number situation? The Yankees got too many retired numbers?
Yeah, I feel like this is another topic that's just gonna like feed that villain Pat narrative. I hate it. I think that the Yankees have way too many retired numbers. I'm looking at a few guys out there, and I don't think that they should have their number retired. I think it bothers me a little bit how like, let's just say Reggie Jackson is held in the same class as Babe Ruth. And I don't think Reggie Jackson should have his number retired. I think that has nothing to do with the whole Astro stuff. I'm just like looking at his Yankee career, and I don't view it as like worthy enough to have 44 retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm looking at numbers like, I hate to say it, Paul O'Neill. I guess maybe you could retire Jorge, like the core 4 if you want to do that. But I definitely think that there's plenty of numbers out there that should be unretired. I know the Yankees will never do it just because that's who they are. But yeah, I definitely think that there's some room for them to work with there. I also saw that they're not giving out number 69, which is kind of funny to me. But the whole coaches numbers thing, I'm completely on board with that. I think Aaron Boone wearing 17 is a complete waste of a number. I mean, how often do we ever even see that dude wear a jersey, right? The only time we associate 17 with Aaron Boone is when he has it on like the sleeve of his windbreaker. But yeah, I'm totally down with like getting the numbers off of coaches and managers.
Yeah, I just feel like, so to back you up on the retired numbers thing, there's just too many great players to have all these numbers retired. I just want to know what the backlash would be. I mean, if you said, we're going to retire numbers for 100 years, right? Just take them out of circulation for 100 years and then let them come back. So like Babe Ruth would be eligible in like 2040, you know, and Lou Gehrig in like 2039 or whatever. I feel like 100 years is that's a fair amount of time for somebody not to wear, like everybody who ever knew that person is fucking dead. Like, like everybody who is a fan of Babe Ruth is dust. I think it's okay to unretire the number and just be like, we're gonna pass it on in honor, and then you just hang like a portrait of the guy or something.
Yeah, but like, you know what my thing is now at this point? It's like the Yankees have dug themselves in such a hole, like no pun intended. But they've dug themselves in such a hole where it's like, well, now you kind of just got to like go on with the narrative that like you're retiring the number of like great Yankees and not legendary Yankees. You know what I mean? If they would have just stuck to just retiring the number of legendary Yankees, then like you'd have so much more space there as far as numbers go. But now since they started retiring like great Yankees as well, like the Paul O'Neills, like the Jorge Posadas, now you just kind of have to keep going in that direction because they dug themselves too deep.
Yeah. Paul O'Neill is another one that you could tell they were debating it because they didn't really issue it many times for a long time. And fans always kind of asked for it, but you could tell they didn't really want to do it, right? And that always kind of felt awkward to me. The thing about Paul O'Neill is he came from the Reds. He won a World Series with another team. Same thing with Reggie. Reggie only played 5 years with the Yankees. I always felt like the policy for retiring a player's number should be, like one of the prerequisites is that you play your entire career with that team.
Sure.
That seems fair. Don Mattingly, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, Mickey Mantle, like those guys, I get them. And I still think, take the number out of circulation for 100 years, or like if you're Paul O'Neill, 50 years. Maybe depending
different time frames.
Like maybe Hall of Famers get 100 years, and then like if you're just like a great Yankee, you get like 50 years. I don't know. I mean, that's probably a controversial thing to say. I'll probably see this on Reddit. People crapping on me. Derek doesn't understand tradition. I get it. I'm just tired of seeing guys take the field with number 95, even though they're 22 years old. I mean, our prospects deserve better.
One last thing I will say about the number thing is it kind of pains me a little bit that Reggie Jackson has his number retired, but Alex Rodriguez doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like we can't pick and choose at this point. Like, who is a great Yankee? Because I view Alex Rodriguez as one of the greatest Yankees of all time. And the fact that he doesn't have his number retired, it kind of like it questions the significance of Monument Park in my eyes.
Two-time MVP, but he did try to sue the team, so I don't know
but
about that.
Then they made like friends and like, dude, but that shouldn't matter. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about his Yankee career, and his Yankee career was legendary.
So Douglas Rao has a good point. He says if they had retired 21 universally for Roberto Clemente, the Yankees could have retired it a second time for O'Neill, like number 8 and number 42. I feel like that would have been a good situation. I do feel like Clemente might get his number universally retired at some point, just because of how important he was to like the Latin ball players. But it's too late now. It's retired for Paulie.
Like maybe this is like a weird question, but like I don't think there's any like significant players out there who wear 21, right? Scherzer does maybe.
I can't really think of any right now.
Because I'm thinking of like what guys would be like, oh, I don't want to like get rid of my number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that might be why a lot of guys don't do it. But when they did that in 97, I think it was, maybe 98. I think it was 97 because I think it was the 50-year anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. They announced that they were retiring it for everybody, and there was like 5 guys in the league who wore number 42. And Mariano Rivera was one of them. And they grandfathered those guys in. And he was the last guy wearing it for like another 10 or 15 years. It was crazy. Yeah. So how you liking the new rules? I've seen a lot of people kind of all over the pitch clock to saying it's not baseball. I actually kind of like the crisper game. I like the shifts going away. I like the bigger bags because I want less players to be hurt. I'm kind of a fan of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I love I love banning the shift. I think that's awesome. I think it's something that they should have done a long time ago. The pitch clock is one thing where when they first implemented it coming into the season, I hated it, right? Like I felt like the definition of a boomer. I was like, yo, this sucks. It's going to ruin baseball. And especially even in spring training, I was like, yo, this kind of sucks. Being at the game yesterday, I kind of enjoyed how I was like, yo, this game was like 2.5 hours. I feel like I didn't really miss any sort of quality play. However, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, it felt like that because it was a 5-0 game in the end of March, right?
Yeah.
If we're looking at like a postseason game, like imagine that Trout Ohtani at bat in the World Baseball Classic with a pitch clock. It wouldn't have felt the same, right? And then I'm also looking at like postseason games and like just big games toward the end of the season. I don't want those games to feel rushed, right? Like I love those like end of the season Yankees and Red Sox battling for first place 4-hour long games. I love it, bro. And I think the fact that we're kind of going to miss out on that now, and especially if we see games end on like pitch clock violations, it's stuff like that worries me. But as of right now, until we get to that point, I'm kind of a fan.
Yeah, I think that first time we lose a close game because the batter wasn't making eye contact with the pitcher with 8 seconds on the clock, I might go to jail for like just public destruction of the Major League Baseball headquarters with a sledgehammer.
But now you can't do it because you just said it. So.
I know. Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to take. That's going to be a tough recap to do. That's going to be some bullshit.
Can we answer a question?
Sure.
Name one Yankee who you think would be most likely to end a game on a pitch clock violation. A hitter. Kind of like not being ready in the box in time.
Oh, man. Aaron Hicks.
I got mine. Yeah?
Yeah, Aaron
Mine's
Hicks.
Josh Donaldson.
I was saying Josh Donaldson, maybe, he takes his time. He's always, doing his little routine. That's probably why Gary Sanchez is out of the league, because he would do it every time. That guy took forever to get in the box.
Don't sleep on him. Don't. He just signed a minor league deal with the Giants.
Yeah.
Shout out Gary. Yeah. Attaboy, Gary.
I was just thinking about that 2021 season. It's crazy how far we've come. You're doing better now. And not like you're doing better. I'm sure you are doing better, but better baseball. Yeah, sure. Better baseball. Tell us a little bit about better baseball.
Yeah, listen, I've said for so long, like, obviously I love the Yankees, right? But, like, baseball is my passion at the end of the day, and I love the game baseball. So Better Baseball is basically a sub-brand of Better, and it's basically all baseball content out there. I go live on the Better YouTube channel basically every day at noon. We're going to start toying with the times. Maybe I'll do, like, some post-games like how I used to do on Unhinged Yankees. But, yeah, bro, just, like, so much baseball content this season. Obviously, the Yankees Avenue show with Dan, too. Maybe I'll, like, get back into the Unhinged Yankees YouTube channel. Maybe I'll do some live streams here and there. But, like, I think overall, just looking back, like, from 2021 when we were just, like, streaming every night after the game, it's amazing to see how far, like, content creators have been able to go, right? Because it's kind of like when we first started doing this, it was like kind of just like fun. It was like a hobby. And now you're starting to see content creators implement themselves further than like those main staple media outlets. And I think that it's so huge just for everyone involved, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just blown away with what, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but what this podcast has become. I originally started this just to kind of talk baseball a little bit after each game. I thought, hey, you can make a few bucks off of YouTube. I wanted to buy a lawnmower at the time, I remember. And now it's like it's essentially a full-time job and a budding career, and it's like a ton of fun. I've become addicted to podcasts. I watch all of them. And I think that, with Sweeney Murdy's move to MLB, like he recognizes that podcasts are the future of Major League Baseball. And like anybody who, doesn't get involved in the YouTube game with their podcast is just missing out, because YouTube is the number 2 website on the planet, right? So, I mean, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So, I wish you hadn't given up Unhinged Yankees, because I honestly loved going there after the game. You had the rally rod, you had the lights going berserk. Dude, we had so much fun. That was so wild. But I hope you do get back into it one day. Let's get a round of applause for Mr. Patrick Hennessy. Pat, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
One final thought, actually, and I think that this is kind of just a giveaway. Garrett Cole is going to easily win Cy Young this year.
I hope so.
That's kind of just a fact at this point. You saw him dominate yesterday. So
keep going.
He's on path to just demolish the American League this year and easily winning Cy Young.
That's our wrap-up music.
I like it.
So,
who's that guy? Like very quietly talking in the background.
Most impressive.
So yeah, that guy. So that's Darth Vader, man. So we got Vader.
Never seen Star Wars.
Yeah, we got Vader. I mean, he should if you're a Yankees fan. It's kind of with the evil empire, We got Vader in there. I think we had Jeff Goldblum in there. So the whole thought behind the wrap-up music was, Frank Sinatra, when he was getting ready to leave a party, would always tell his entourage, looks like it's going to rain. So whenever we're getting ready to wrap things up, I always just hit that sound. That means we're running down, and so everybody get their final comments in. But we are out of time here. I've got a date night with the wife to watch the new Tetris movie. I'm pretty excited about that. Pat, good luck with your what? Tetris movie's going to be awesome. Don't give me that look.
It's cool. It
give me
sounds
that.
like a great night. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks to everybody who watched. We got a recap tomorrow after the game. I believe the game's at 4 o'clock, so it'll be about 6:30. Check out Better Baseball. Check out Pat Hennessy on Twitter. Unhinged Patrick. Pat, thank you very much.
Love you, Derek. Thank you for having me. I love this.
Hey everybody, if you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed. Ball game over.
Most impressive.